Yes, you are welcome to this introductory class on HTML. Over the course of the next 10 weeks thereabouts, we'll be looking at some courses on HTML and CSS, which I believe without any doubt will prepare you for a career in front-end engineering. And today we are starting with the introduction. So we're going to be looking at what HTML is. We're going to see some very basic HTML tags and elements, and we're going to create our very first website. By now, I believe you should be excited that we're going to get our hands dirty writing some HTML code, and then with that, we'll be prepared for the next step. And before we go ahead, I would like to give us a little historical background on HTML. HTML actually is an acronym for Hypertext Markup Language. It was created by Sir Tim Berners-Lee in the late 91, but was not released officially until 1995 when it was published as HTML 2.0. And from there we have HTML 4.01, which was published late in 1999. And that is even still the major HTML that we still write up to today. Though we now have HTML5, which brings in some flexibility and allows us to perform some things we would have wished to be able to do, which HTML4 did not allow us. All that we are going to see as we progress in this our course. HTML is a very evolving markup language and has evolved with various versions and updates long before it receives standards and specifications are carried out. Each version has allowed its user to create web pages in a much easier and prettier way and make sites very efficient. So version 1 was released in 1993, version 2 was released in 1995, then we have version 3, which was released, which was the work of Dave Regatz. And it actually introduced some fresh things into the original HTML, as was designed by Tim Berners-Lee. And eventually we had version 4.01, which was released late in 1999. And like I mentioned, that we now have version 5, which was released around the year 2012. So now, when we say HTML, what is it really about? Some of us will think when we see website, maybe we go through our school website, or maybe you have even seen Google, or even YouTube. YouTube is a website. There is an application, but it's a website. And then Facebook, when we see them, maybe we might have been thinking it would be very difficult to come up with such designs. But eventually in this class, you are going to realize how easy it is to come up with a website. So in this introductory class, we'll see what HTML stands for. I already told us that is Hypertext Markup Language. Then HTML is the standard markup language for creating web pages. And one thing I have to tell you at this junction is that any website anywhere you come across actually has HTML. Irrespective of the programming language with which it was created, before it can get to the web, where users like you and me can interact with, it has to be HTML. So HTML is the basic building block of a website. There is no website without HTML. HTML and website, there are two things that cannot be separated. HTML consists of series of elements. We have different types of elements for different purposes. When we begin to write them out, you have better understanding of what those elements and tags are. And then HTML tells the browser how to display the contents. There are sections in the HTML code itself. When you write them out, some section actually tells the browser how the website should be displayed. And then HTML element label pieces of contents. And then with different tags, we can come together, we can put together different tags to accomplish our task. So here before me, I have a simple structure of a very basic HTML. In fact, I want to tell you that every website starts from here. So if you look at the screen, you'll see the doc type HTML between a less than and a greater than sign. That less than and the greater than sign are parts of the tag. They must be there. They are very important in the tag, and it helps the browser to understand their HTML tags. And then after the doc exclamation doc type HTML, we have the HTML opening tag. I said opening tag. Actually, most HTML tags comes in pair. We have the opening tag, the greater than, the less than sign, HTML greater than sign. That's the opening tag. If you look at the bottom of that page, you see that there's another HTML down, the last item on that listing, which has a / before it. That's the closing tag. So most HTML tags come with an opening and closing tag. Then we have the edge tag. And if you look at it very well, the edge tag is the third line. If you look at the fifth line, we have the closing edge tag there. So you see that it also has a / before the word edge. So that's how simple it is to create HTML tags. In fact, with HTML5, anything can become a tag. You can put your name within the within the less than and greater than sign, and then give it a closing by creating another less than / your name, and then a greater than sign. That becomes a tag in HTML5. That's not possible in HTML4. But with HTML5, that is very possible. So you'll see that HTML is very interesting, and we're going to adapt this code for our first website. So I'm going to bring up my notepad. Okay, to create a website, what do you need when you are writing HTML code? Well, you don't need sophisticated software to create a website. If you are still just about HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, the notepad application that came with your operating system is sufficient for all that we need to do. So now I'm going to start with this. I've opened the notepad already. So I'm typing out the code for our first website. So it will be good if you can just follow as I type out, and then eventually you later come up to do your own so that you can understand everything I'm doing. So just be patient. You don't need to be in a hurry. So you are going to get the best out of everything we are trying to do. So now I'm typing out my HTML tags. I would explain them when I'm done typing. So just follow along as I typed. So you are seeing the various tags as I type them out. So first and foremost, I'll just create the basic templates, what we call a boilerplate in web design. Well, that's another tag, another term there, boilerplate. It's not something very big. When we say something is a boilerplate, it means it's just a basic structure that every website will have. So whatever you want to put on your website must still have this basic structure, the one I have before me now. Presently, I don't have anything in it. If I save this, well, we need to save it as an HTML file. So I'm going to save it. I'm not going to save it in a file location. I'll just save it on the desktop to give us easy access. But to put everything together, I will first create a folder on the desktop. I'll create a folder. I'll call it sites. And then inside that folder, I'm going to save this as first page.html. Now you need to take note of something. We are working with Notepad. Notepad as it is a text making application. So if we just save our file, Notepad by itself, we had a .txt at the back of it. So to prevent that, I'm going to put that file name in a double quote so that it doesn't append the .txt to the end of my first page.html. So after saving that, So let's open it up in the browser so that we'll see what we have done so far. But like I said, it's not going to show anything because it's just a boilerplate that contains nothing. So we're going to put value into it now. So I've opened it. You see we have a blank page. Okay, let's go back to our notepad. And then in our notepad, between the opening and the closing tag for title, let's put first page. And then between the opening and the closing tag of the body, let's put the word, let's put another tag, a P tag, where P tag in HTML represents paragraph. So if you want to create a paragraph in HTML, you use the P tag. So, and let's put hello world. Hello world. Let's save this. Let's just do Ctrl S to save. And then go back to our browser and refresh. Then we should have hello world. Hooray! We created our first website. It's as simple as that. That is all you need to know to create your first website. Maybe I should tell you congratulations that you are now a web developer because you have actually created a website. And then as you progress in the study, you now understand what it takes to do something more complex and to come up with a very beautiful design. By the time we'll touch on color, we'll touch on background, we'll touch on images, we'll touch on the various tags that exist in HTML that will make us to come up with a very beautiful and interesting web page that you yourself, you'll be proud of. How was it?